And you know you bullshitting. That's why the only recourse you have is to sit up here lying and babbling. And you're proving our point for us, sir. Now, let me get some other people on here because, sir, I wish not to hear any more of your lies. I wish you a good day. All right, Scarface. Let's get this person on here. Scarface, hold on. Let me unmute. Scarface, speak on it.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Do we have a Caucasian man here?
Well, I'm Italian. I'm Southern Italian, and I'm from
Same.
New York, so it's a little different.
I know. It's still Caucasian, but y'all still got that Moorish blood. Are you Sicilian or what part of it?
Nabliadan, Sicilian, yeah. But I'm also from New York City. It's a whole different. New York City is a whole culture in and of itself.
Well, no
You
doubt.
know, so if you don't know, I'll school you on that.
No
You
doubt.
know, I don't even know where you're from,
Well,
to
so
be honest.
what's
But
on
the
your what's on your mind?
but definitely don't just group me in with Caucasian, bro. Southern Italians had it very rough. They were called the N word. They were lynched. You sound like you know a lot about history, so
Yeah, I know that. I
you
know that
should
they
you
called
should.
you guineas. They called you guineas when you
They
came over.
called us the N word too.
I know, and
They
guinea
called
is
us
a word for African. So
exactly. Thank you,
I
thank
know.
you.
But yeah,
100%. Where are you from, by the way? I'm curious. Where are you from?
but you mentioned the lynching. As far as being lynched, you guys got paid for that. They gave y'all reparations, and they had to pay off Italy. So they had to apologize to the Italian government after they lynched the Italians. I think that was down in Louisiana, where they did
What year was that?
sometime in the 1800s. They did a mass lynching of a lot of Italians because the
Well, the
Italian.
mass lynching was around 1891,
Right,
if I'm
right,
not mistaken.
right. It was in 1800s, like I said, 1800s, and it was down in
I'm talking about the reparations. When did the reparations come?
that. I'm not sure, but I know it came pretty soon because they had to apologize to the Italian government and they had to pay the family, the people who were lynched. So, but
Right,
anyway, what's on
right.
your mind? What's
Well,
going on?
they fucked the Italians anyway in 1924 with the Immigration Act that basically stopped all immigration from southern Italy at that time.
Yeah, but they start letting you be white around that time too, around 19.
No, it's really after World War II. It was
Right, right,
after
right.
the Italians fought in World War II that they started doing that.
Yeah, they start letting
Um,
you be
but
classified.
there were also guys that started getting prominent in the 1930s that were encouraging Italian Americans to assimilate and But there's a lot of actually you were kind of leading into where I'm going with this, which is that these Italian Americans also paved a lot of the ways for Black Americans.
Not
Uh,
really. Go ahead.
well, you had the anarchists as early as 1901 that were, using violence against oppressors and tyrants. There's a lot of different ways. There was Vito. What the fuck was his name again? Mark Cantonio, who was, ran, most of the neighborhoods in New York that were Italian, that are Black now, were used to be Italian.
Well, the
And
thing is, yeah, but the thing is, the Italians would actually, when they commit crimes, they would oftentimes hide in black neighborhoods. They would hide from the authorities, especially during the 1930s, when they had that big crime wave with, Babyface Nelson, Dillinger, and that whole crime wave. Italians and a lot of them would hide. The mafia would hide in black neighborhoods. So I wouldn't say they did anything
I don't
actually.
know. Yeah, I'd have to get some kind of um, resource on that. Yeah, I'd never heard about that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
but
know
I wouldn't
anything
say
about.
they actually helped us because they came over and
Well,
benefited
sure. I
from.
mean, look up Vito Marcantonio.
I understand,
He's
but
the guy that was running Harlem in the 1930s. He was a very early civil rights activist. He, pushed for a lot of that. I mean, if it wasn't for the Italian Americans are the ones that got all the labor laws passed.
well, that
Before
was
the labor laws, there was excuse me, horrific abuse of all the Americans that were working during the Industrial Revolution. When the factories went up, they were losing 10% of their workforce a week to death. They were losing 10%. They had children working. Nobody gave a fuck. They had them working 18, 20 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. So the Italians fought for the labor laws
but that
that
wasn't for
Black
black.
Americans benefited from.
But that wasn't for black people though. Yeah,
Well,
we were
Black
still segregated.
Americans benefited from it,
But
though.
we benefited from our own labor though. As foundational Black Americans, we benefited from our own labor. We built the country, so we benefited from our own labor.
Well, you
So
didn't build the cities. The
yeah,
Italians built the cities,
so
and the Irish, and all the cities that Black Americans migrated to by choice in the early 1900s. They did the same thing that you're saying that
sir,
the
sir,
African immigrants are doing.
sir, if the Italians did that, why didn't they build the shit in Italy?
They did. It was the
No,
Roman
they did.
Empire. What are you talking
No,
about? They
it
they
was
built a
sir,
million things in
a
Italy.
gazillion years ago. sir. And it's still raggedy now. The Roman ruins are still
Well, they
ruined,
built the Bank
sir.
of America,
Sir, they
right?
did.
They were the
Yeah,
first,
out in California, I know that.
but that was
But
the first bank that actually provided money to people that
sir,
were
but
poor.
why didn't they do all that in Italy?
We're talking about America right now. I don't
No,
care
no.
about
If they
Italy.
did,
I'm
no, no. If
talking
they
about
did all that,
America.
so why was Italy broke, poor, and funky?
We're talking about America right
But we're
now.
talking. But if you
I'm
say
not.
you
I
did,
don't care about Italy. I don't know why you're even
but if
bringing Italy
you said
up.
but if you the one who said the Italians did all this stuff over,
Italian Americans. Italian
but
Americans.
why
I'm
didn't they
talking
do that
about.
back?
Who cares? What I'm talking
I
about is
care.
how they helped black. They paved the way for black
They didn't
Americans
pave a
here.
damn thing for Black Americans. They came over and benefited from the free labor and wealth generated by Black
No,
Americans.
no, 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 no. The
Yes,
black
they
Americans moved to where the Italians and the Irish
stop.
lived, and they took
Stop.
their jobs and they took
Where
their
did
free
Black people
housing, and while they were fighting in World War One.
stop it? With family, we
What do you mean
built this
stop
country.
it? This is factual. This is
Yes, sir.
factual.
You're revising history. Foundational Black Americans built a nation that immigrants from
Built what nation? They were in
over
two,
to.
three states. What are you
So
talking? They were mostly in Virginia. What
stop.
are you talking about?
What are
The
you
North always outperformed the South.
stop it?
If
The
it
North.
wasn't for the North, you would still be in slavery. What are you talking
Stop.
about?
How so? Because now you're
Because
trolling.
the North won the war. What are you
Stop.
talking about,
The
bro?
North, the North won the war because foundational Black Americans started fighting for the Union because the Union was losing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because
Say
now
that
I'm
again. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
yeah, because what I'm not going to let you do is start trolling because you're trying to ramp up some trolling. So
I'm
the
not trolling
Union
at all. This is all
stop,
fact, bro.
stop. The Union was losing the Civil War. The Confederates were beating the shit out of the Union. The only reason the Union won is because they started to recruit Black soldiers, sir. So it was
That's not
foundational.
true.
It's
That's not true.
100% true. Not only
The
that,
North
you
always had
got
more money than the.
stop. Not only that, Black people down in Florida were freeing themselves. They were destroying the plantations down in Florida, the Black Seminoles. So Black people were not only fighting in the South, they were fighting for the Union. So Black people were active in the freeing of themselves. So let's get history clear. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Scarface. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you had me muted.
Yeah,
I didn't say that there was no participation from Black Americans, but to act like Black Americans, there was way more people, that, quote unquote, white people in the North that were fighting that war, and it was the generals, it was the innovation with
it was
how to
Black.
fight battles, it was the strategies, it was the
It was Black
technology that was
people.
created by white people
It was
that
Black.
allowed us to win the war, and we fought for you. 600,000 people
God.
died.
You didn't fight for foundational Black Americans, sir. That wasn't a war for foundational Black Americans. The freeing of Black people came later on, but that wasn't the purpose of the Civil War. And you know this, sir. Let's be very clear. Every white person knows this.
That's
You know
not true. You
it.
think all white? I don't even understand why you refer to white as it's one thing. White's not unified in this country.
Yes, it
It,
is.
it's
Yes,
not unified at all. I don't
yes,
know how you can say that. If
yes.
you look at if you want to take the
Now let's
same
get back.
logic that you
Oh, no, no. You're not going to babble here, sir. Let's go back into history. You're talking about New York had more money. The North benefited from slavery too. The slave trade, a lot of it started really up there in Massachusetts. The financial sector of it. New York had slavery, sir. The entire nation benefited from foundational Black Americans' free labor. Is that true or not true, sir?
uh, I'm sure there's truth to that. I'm sure there's truth to that. But you also, it's a symbiotic relationship.
No, it's not.
That's why at the end of the day, after the Civil War, the freed slaves were offered to go back to Africa, and they chose
Actually,
to stay.
okay, but
So,
from
and then they migrated to where they were.
we weren't from Africa. Do you understand that? Let me say that again. Most of us were not from Africa. Do you understand that?
I've heard your point. I've heard you say the whole 3% thing,
Yes,
but that's irrelevant. The point is
not
that
irrelevant.
statistic. No, that statistic means
It's not irrelevant. Most of us were not from Africa. Only 3% of the people who came from Africa came here. Most of us were indigenous to this land. That's why we didn't leave. That's why we didn't want to go to a foreign land. Does that make sense, sir? Mr. Scarface, does that make sense?
When they say 3%, they mean the other 97% went to Brazil and the Caribbean.
Yes.
Not that only 3% of the slaves that were in
Yeah,
America were from Africa. I don't
sir.
understand what you're trying to
What,
say.
what 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 do you mean you don't understand? Well, I'm
They
going.
have all the numbers. It started off in 1619, right? When you had 10 something people here and 20, and then it became
There were
eventually, there was a total of 300,000 slaves that were brought here, and they became 4 million by the Civil War. That's the facts.
there were already black people here before 1619. That's documented by
Yeah,
European.
tiny amount, not
Lot.
anything that what you're talking about.
There were lots of people over here, all over.
And it was tiny. So what? There was
It
all types
doesn't.
of people there. There was Italians there too. There was, so there were
There's
Mexicans there. There were Native
but,
Americans
but
there, but they weren't there in large numbers.
there was no such thing as a Mexican at the
So there
time.
was no transatlantic slave trade. That's what you're saying.
Sir, stop gaslighting.
I'm not gaslighting. I mean, I don't understand what you're
Sir,
trying to make it like that there
you're,
was nobody brought here.
you're making up straw man arguments, sir.
Straw man argument for what?
There were black people here thousands of years before the white supremacists came.
But there were also people that chose after the Civil War to go back to Africa in
That,
what was it, Liberia? That they were
sir,
going to form some kind of a,
only a handful of people went to Liberia. Most of us didn't go because we knew we were not from there, sir. The problem is foundational black Americans built this country, and the white supremacists tried to do it by themselves, and they all failed.
You'd have to really prove that. You're just saying something. I mean, the Union's advantages had to do with their enlarged industrial power and the political skills of
Sir,
its leaders.
do you understand? Before 1619, they tried to set up other European colonies in North America. Are you aware of that?
Before 1619, sure.
Yes. Do you know which ones they are? I know. I want to see if you know.
There was Spain. There was the Portuguese were here before 1619.
And yes, they were. They came 1526. They had San Miguel del Guadape over in South Carolina, and they failed.
Right. And guess who was here in 1492? Columbus. And what the hell was his name? The one that we named America after? The Italians?
Amerigo Vespucci.
There you go.
And do you know the name Amerigo? That's not his real name. He named himself after a black tribe down in Panama.
Well, there you go. Let's bring the Italians and the blacks together.
Okay. So, sir, you're welcome. For us, foundational Black Americans, helping to bring a lane for you to come over and your family to come over from Italy to survive over here and thrive.
You had nothing to do with with the cities. We made the cities for you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sir,
we paved the way for you. You all moved to the cities. You had to flee the South because they were going to fucking run you over.
Sir.
So you came to the cities and you took jobs from the Irish. You took jobs from the Italians. We paved the way for you.
Sir. You couldn't even pave the way for yourself in Italy. That's why you got on a boat with $3 and they called you wops because you didn't even have paperwork. This is just a guinea without papers, and they called you wops. You didn't even have paperwork. Y'all hopped on anything that was floating to get over here, sir. You couldn't even pave the way for your damn self. How you gonna pave the way for us?
I mean, you're going to deny the influence of Italian Americans in this country.
Yes, you didn't do
what you're trying to tell me right now.
You didn't do a damn thing for us.
Half of black culture right now has.
Stop it. But flood our communities with drugs. If we want to go there, you flooded black areas with drugs and then stole the number running game. It was black people who created the numbers game that the Italian mafia latched on to get money. Who influenced who, sir?
The black people didn't even come to New York City until 1915 for the first time. No, they took from the Italians. Prohibition was.
Black people were in New York in the 1600s documented. Black people have been in New York from the very beginning, sir. You're just spewing troll nonsense. Black people were always in New York. Black people been in New York, and the mafia took the numbers game from foundational black Americans. The Jones brothers out of Chicago, Bumpy Johnson, all of these people, sir, You really need to understand.
Listen, if you go look at pictures of New York City in 1900s, it's all white faces, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Look at a
Because
census, look at images and pictures. It's all
I,
white slums that were Irish and Italian. There
I,
were no labor laws under the
sir,
Industrial
this
Revolution, and
country was
those labor laws were made by Italian Americans, my friend.
it's
So if you can't respect that, then you're disrespecting. I think it's time the Italians need to come back together, to be honest, in this country and form a group, because I can see that that's the only way right now that people are actually getting respect. You know, you got to come in numbers. And if I'm just me right now. This is what you do for a living. I'm just up late on whatever night it is. You know what I mean? Let me start getting all the Italian Americans. The American government never spent more money than to lock up Italian Americans, not black people, Italian Americans. They spent $200 million to dismantle the mafia. So don't start talking to me about what goes on.
then why should they have not dismantled organized crime, sir?
Why are you fighting for criminals that are black to not go to jail?
What criminals have I fought for, sir?
So you're okay with black criminals going to jail?
Sir, your racist trolling is running out.
I'm
So
not trolling at all. Don't try
now,
to turn me into
sir,
a troll. Everything I'm saying is
now your racist white supremacist trolling is coming all the way out because you failed. You come from a failed culture in Italy. Y'all were failing in Italy. You came over here to the country foundation of Black Americans built, and you're talking about some dam you built New York, and the ruins of Rome are still over there in Rome. Y'all didn't even clean Rome up. It's still in ruins. Why don't you fix the ruins of Rome?
it's funny how you think one thing is like there's so many different pieces of everything.
Yeah, there's pieces of rubble all on the ground in Italy. I've been all over Italy. Y'all don't even fix the Tower of Pisa. Y'all didn't even fix that shit. It's still leaning.
Very funny,
You
very
talking about
funny.
you done built
Dude,
something?
why? Let me ask you a question. Why did
You ain't asked me nothing. You talking about what you done built? Let me tell you something. Not only was it foundational Black Americans saving you, even before foundational Black Americans, you're Italian. It was the Moors who saved you too. It was the Black Moors who came over there and got you out of squalor. You were about to die over there. Y'all over there disease ridden. Y'all had the Black Plague, the Justinian Plague. There were dozens of plagues hitting over there. It was the Black Moors who came over there bringing alcohol and chemicals and things over there to clean that place up. So you doubly owe Black people a thank you.
how far are you going to go back to try
All
to
the way
make a
back.
point? I mean, come on.
All the way back. You owe
Let's
foundation.
get a little more relevant. Let's talk about right.
You owe foundational Black Americans, and you owe the Moors for saving you because y'all were dying off over there, especially Italy. Y'all were dying the hell off.
Okay, I think it's pretty obvious that the rappers are mostly the most influential Black
Who
Americans,
cares?
and they wear all Gucci and Italian designers. They took the word "yo" from Italians. They took the whole gangster image that Italians made cool. So it's like, let's talk about what's happening right now.
Okay, let's talk about what's
Let's
happening
talk
right now.
about how they've
The only
continued to be influenced by.
nobody's influenced by you. The only gangster that you have is that you're connected with law enforcement because of your whiteness. So you're not gangster. You've never been gangster. All the whole tough guy, yo, paisan talk. The only thing you had, the only advantage was your proximity to whiteness, your ability to be protected by your whiteness, which is a form of welfare. Whiteness and white supremacy is white supremacy is welfare for white people. That's what you benefited for. Now
White
either that
supremacists hate Italians. I don't know what you're talking about. They hate
you're right.
Italians. They hate Catholics. They hate
Stop it.
Jews.
Stop it. You're
What are
white.
you talking about?
Italians are not some other group. You're a
Yes,
white.
they are.
No, you're not.
They were
Stop.
turned white, and there's still
Stop.
plenty of black people I
Stop.
know that consider
Stop.
Italians black.
Stop it.
So you
Y'all
never heard that, Tariq?
you play the denial of whiteness game. When it's very convenient, y'all try to play this denial of whiteness. I'm not white, I'm Italian. I'm not white, I'm Spanish. I'm not white, I'm Irish. So y'all try to play this three-card Monte game when it's convenient. It's called temporary denial of whiteness. I talk about that in my book. That's an old white supremacist trick. Oh, I'm not white. I couldn't possibly be a white supremacist. Man, I'm Cherokee. Are you mixed with Cherokee too, buddy?
I didn't say I wasn't white. What I'm saying is there's a difference between people that became white and white supremacists. And the white supremacists don't like Catholics. They don't like Italians. They don't like Jews.
Every
They don't
single
like Jews more than they don't.
and every single one of you who have differences don't like black people. That's the commonality that you all have. So I don't give a damn what type of differences you have among family. All of you get on code against black people. So that's my concern. So you all are white enough. I don't give a damn what level of whiteness you are. Y'all all get together and get on the same anti-black page. So that's the problem that I have, sir. Are you here, Mr. Scarface?
I'm here. I'm here. As soon as I'm unmuted, I'll speak.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, dude, I could make a documentary about how Italian Americans had helped Black Americans. You had Sinatra and Dean Martin that opened up doors for entertainment. You have the Jews that opened up all kind of doors for Black platforms. Actually, the father of the jazz guitar is an Italian guy who used to play with Lonnie Johnson in the 1920s. There's so many stories I could get into with you, but we don't have time to get into all that. And, I haven't really prepared for all that.
Foundational Black Americans created every single music genre over here, dude. Stop it. Just stop it.
There was no music, is what you're trying to tell me, before America, right? There was no classical music. There was no drums that go all the way back to China.
The drums, the modern drums that people use now, the sit-down drums, that was created by foundational Black Americans.
The drum goes back to China.
The sit-down drum, sir.
There's a whole, but percussion. It's all about percussion,
sir. There were drums in Africa that go back millions of years, sir.
So then how come they're not making the music in Africa? Why'd they have to do it here?
They are making music in Africa.
They didn't make the blues and jazz in Africa. They did it in America with white people. With white people, with Jews and Italians.
Oh, we're foundational Black Americans. We made the music. Foundational Black Americans, sir. We made that. Well, Hellions didn't make no damn blues, R&B, and none of that stuff. Foundational Black Americans made that, sir.
They did, but they did it here in America with other white people.
Sir, this is a country we built. This is our country, sir. This is a foundational Black American country. This is our homeland, sir. This is not your homeland. You're an immigrant. I'm not.
No, you migrated to the cities. You're not from the cities. You were never from the cities. You followed the lanes that
we founded many of the cities in this country, sir. Los Angeles was founded by Black people. Buffalo was founded by Black people. Chicago was founded by a Black person. We settled many of these cities. Sir, you don't know history.
Chicago was a Haitian guy. I thought Haitians were immigrants.
Sir, that brother was one of our riders. He's still Black.
Okay, so but he was an immigrant, wasn't he?
He's still Black.
He was an immigrant guy.
He's Black.
He was let me tell you something. Immigrants make the flavor in this country.
You couldn't make the flavor in Italy, dude. If you make the flavor in the country, why didn't you make the flavor in Italy? Why are y'all sitting over there struggling in Italy right now, sir?
I don't know who you think's struggling. Literally the strongest mafias in the world are all southern Italy. Calabria, Naples, and Sicily have the strongest mafias in the world.
So you have to hang your hat on criminality. That's the problem right there. If your claim to fame is being an organized criminal, that shows how degenerate your mindset is, and you're not qualified to maintain a civilized society, sir. That's why you had to flee and come over here among the foundational Black Americans, who are the moral compass of this country, sir.
No, we had to flee from oppression, from dictators.
Oh,
that's what we had to flee from.
Sound like them Nigerians. It's the government. Oh, the government, nigga. The government.
Listen, Black Americans fled too. They fled the South, Tariq. Stop lying to yourself. You fled the South because you were getting fucking ran over, guy. You couldn't fucking survive over there.
Dude, this is still our country. What do you mean we fled the South? And let's be very clear. There were Black people getting lynched in the North, too. Yeah, we were getting lynched. We were getting lynched, dude. They were murdering us with impunity. So, yeah, we're going to go to the next place so we don't get killed, and we're less than 12% of the population at the time. We're getting killed. People were waging warfare on foundational Black Americans. But we still said, hey, we're going to still fight back in many cases, which we did. We still chose to fight back. We didn't leave the country. You talking like the South is a different country. This is still a country we pay taxes in, buddy. We didn't immigrate nowhere. Talking about fleeing the South, that's not immigrating to another place. We're still in the same landmass where our taxes are circulating. You got y'all asses up out of Italy and bounced and left that shit behind and came on over here eating off us, didn't you?
No, we
Yes,
started coming here in the 1880s, so it was right after slavery was
yeah.
over, and the cities weren't even
And
built yet.
yeah, dude, y'all was still classified as Sicilians because Italy didn't even become a nation state until around that time too. So, dude, you knew booty, as we say. You one of these brand new niggas.
Oh God, please! Like I said, you came to our cities that we built and that we paved ways for you.
Dude,
That's a fact.
how is
That's
an
a fact.
immigrant gonna claim a city in a country that
But
we
that's what happened.
do?
Who created who?
We've been in these cities. We were already in these cities, dude. You trying to rewrite history? We were already. What city weren't we in? We were in New York. What are you
So
talking
there's
about?
no such thing as the Great
We
Migration,
we
right?
were in New York.
What's the Great Migration?
It's a Chef Boyardee dish. So we were already in
Right,
New
I
York.
know.
We were in Chicago.
I mean,
We
dude,
were
if you want to ignore facts, then
no, no,
like I
no,
said, I think
no,
you're an
you're
interesting
babbling.
guy and you have a great way.
You're babbling. Stop it. And stop with the tough guy. I hate when a lot of y'all be trying to act like that. Yo, it's tough. Yeah, man, your whiteness protects you. You guys are weenies. You're a goddamn weenie. Your whiteness protects you. You fall into the system of white supremacy. You're not fucking tough. Black people, foundational black Americans, we're tough because we have to go against the militarized government. That's tough. We're less than 12% of the population and we don't have the cloak of whiteness to help us out. When we feel injustice, we don't get on a boat with $3 and flee like bitches. We stand here and stand strong and fight against oppression. And you could never be that.
You fled you ran away from the
Ah,
South.
stop with that. Stop. And then why are there so many black people in the South still? There's plenty of black people in the South.
Yeah, I know, but there was a great migration and they ran away from
And
it. And
black
when you
people,
talk about
hey,
fighting the government,
stop,
nobody.
stop all that. Black people are still in the South, and there were black people who never left. You acting like black people just bounced away from the South. There's some who went to the North because this is our country. And many black people and most black people stayed in the South. They didn't run. If we want to talk about fleeing, we stayed in the South. So what you talking about?
Well, yeah, because it's not as bad as you make it out to be. That's why. So, but the reality is that listen,
But your home,
if white people didn't form this nation, if we get taken over by China tomorrow or the Middle East, nobody gives a fuck about what you're saying right now, bro. So you should be fucking worshiping white people right now because we're actually listening to you and fucking, making things happen for black people. Let fucking China take over. You think they're gonna give a fuck what you have to say right now? Dude, foundational black, they don't give a fuck.
but if it weren't for us building the nation for free, you would be in Europe somewhere with head lice eating potatoes.
Like I said, you want to make a comedy show, make a comedy show. The reality is that
Talking real.
Italian Americans.
Let's no, no, no. Let's talk real. I'm talking real. If it weren't for us, you would still be over there in Italy somewhere cannibalizing each other, which is what they were doing here. Let's be clear. They were over here cannibalizing each other. Your ancestors, they were coming over here when they start starving, they just started eating each other. That happened in Virginia, North Carolina, down in in Florida when they tried to set up a colony down there. They didn't know how to create an agrarian society on their own. So they looked at the next guy and said, "Hey, nigga, you look tasty." Even when they went out west, sir, we know about the Dharma Party and all those people, whatever the name is, the Dharma Party. But when they were going west, they were getting stuck out there and saying, "Hey, well, shit, there's no food, but you look like a snack." Well, oh, thank you. No, bitch, you look like a real snack. And they started eating each other. That's your history, sir.
I mean, look, Tariq, I respect your hustle. Like I said. So, but that story
I'm
has
talking
no relevance to what we're talking about right
We're
now.
talking history because you're
But
talking
you're
about
deflecting.
thankful. You
You
know,
def-
you're talking about what we should be thankful to you, and when we're not around, y'all start cannibalizing each other, and we should be thankful. When black folks aren't around, y'all get all types of diseases over there in Europe and start falling out, and your arms and asses is falling off, and we got to be thankful to you. Really?
what I just said was that it was white people that started this country, that started this whole process. So if we get taken over by China tomorrow or any other country, Nobody gives a fuck about what you're saying. It's this country that allows you to say what you're saying because we fight for you. We
No,
go to war against
you,
other countries. We fight for this. You
sir.
keep talking about white supremacy like it's not as something that it's not what it is. You're
Okay,
talking about white people. You
okay.
say, "Oh, because I see people."
Wait, stop your goddamn babbling. Is there white supremacy or not? Because your white forefathers said there was white supremacy. Why did they say that?
Yes, the KKK
Stop.
organization.
And no, no, Thomas Jefferson, the people in the Confederate, it wasn't the KKK. It was the top white people, the Andrew Jacksons. These people were using terms like white supremacy, even in the Taney Supreme Court decision. They were using terms like white supremacy, black inferiority in documents. Why did they use those terms? These are not some fringe groups. We're talking about leaders here and documents in the Supreme Court. Why did they use the term white supremacy then?
Because at that moment in time, which was hundreds of years ago, that was the perception at that
Oh,
particular time. The same way
so
that you think you're superior now to
so
African immigrants.
so when see you're not going to troll. So when did they stop practicing white supremacy? What year, sir?
First of all, there was plenty of founding fathers that were not only against slavery, but they didn't own any slaves.
Stop. I said white supremacy. Abraham Lincoln didn't own slaves, but he believed in the supremacy of the white race. So when did they stop practicing white supremacy?
Do you believe in just the concept?
I asked your silly ass a question, and I want you to answer, and I'm not going to allow you to deflect. What year? Because you've acknowledged that white supremacy was established. So I'm going to ask you, what year did they stop practicing white supremacy systematically in this country? Let's try it again, sir.
Well,
One more
you're
time.
mixing and matching all these different things. You tell me, because I need you to clarify your point. You tell me who said this term white supremacy and who said black inferiority. Who said that?
Sir,
No, you said something.
um,
Let's get specific. Who said it?
Thomas Jefferson has a book called Letters.
Okay, guess what? Not everybody
Okay,
agreed with Thomas Jefferson.
okay.
Okay?
So,
That's what makes this country unique.
but
Other white people fought.
they did agree with him because they elected him president and they still worship him and he's still on currency to this day. So they do accept him. What are you talking about?
I said that there were other Americans at the time. He was a president for however long he was president, then he was gone. There were other ideas that came after him. And there was also, he's a complicated person. There's also things that he did that were valuable to you.
Abraham Lincoln, sir, said he believed the supremacy of the white race. If you want to Google that right now, you can look that up now. The Supreme Court decision, Taney versus Dred Scott, or the Judge Taney, the Dred Scott decision. You can look that up now and find out what they said about white supremacy and black inferiority. This is a document that's on record.
Right. But the Italian immigrants and the Jewish immigrants and the Irish immigrants that were treated like shit helped to fight for you. And that's what helped the movement begin of.
You've never fought for foundational black Americans. The only thing Italians did for foundational black Americans was put drugs in our community and take the numbers racket from the black people who created it.
They did not take the numbers record. That's ridiculous. There was
Yes, they did.
prohibition in 1920.
They did.
They were the blacks were barely in the cities at that
Yes,
time.
they
They
did.
came to the cities.
They got the numbers racket from black people. This is very well documented. They got the numbers racket from black people. Black people were doing the numbers racket, and the Italians got that from black people. Look up the Jones brothers. Please understand history, sir. This is why you need to learn. If you
We're
don't know,
not talking about a numbers game. Who cares about numbers? That's little
okay,
boy shit.
okay. See, now you're just dancing and dipping and diving. See, this is why if you need to learn history, just sit down and learn history and don't babble. This is why you failed in Italy, sir, because you weren't listening and learning. This is why you had to come flee and eat off us. If you listen and learn, maybe you could have built your country up back home, and you wouldn't have the Colosseum still raggedy and everything toe up over there.
Everybody knows the numbers game is little boy shit. We had gambling. We had gambling houses. We had prohibition. You learned from us.
No, no, we don't want to learn how to be criminals. That's not a good thing. Well, nobody wanted to learn how to be criminals. Black people, for the most part, we tried to walk the straight and narrow for the most part. We didn't want to be degenerates. We're moral people for the most part. We had the civil rights movement. We fought for everybody. Notice everything you brag about in your culture is criminality. Notice that?
You must have missed half of what I said. I talked about labor laws. I talked about
That was controlled by the mafia. Those Teamsters, you've always had a criminal element within your culture. You're talking about labor laws. You're talking about the Teamsters, that Jimmy Hoffa, all of that criminal ass stuff that they were doing. They were running rackets, sir. Everything in the culture you're bragging about is all about scamming, rackets, murder, degenerate behavior. Nah, that's not what we want to be about, sir. And that shows the mentality that you have, sir. That's why you failed in your homeland. See, people who have that criminality type of mindset, they're not going to succeed in their homeland. That's why you had to come around moral people in order to thrive. So you're welcome.
right. Jay-Z didn't succeed, right?
Jay-Z is a great success in spite of
Right,
system.
right. All the most successful black people, half of them came from the street. What are you talking about?
And that
Okay,
I,
that
I,
was the whole point. Italian American.
I will give you that. But we had to get in the streets based on circumstances. A lot of us were forced into the street game based on systematic deprivation. But we got out and we started doing good for ourselves in spite of systematic white supremacy. You were able to be a criminal because of white supremacy, because of corrupt cops and corrupt judges. So you just had a whole degenerate thing going on all around the board.
No, we knew how to organize and get tough,
You know,
which
you knew how
helped
to be
create all the things you
you
just.
knew how to use your whiteness. You use your whiteness. You got to pass because the only reason you were able to get away with all of that damn criminality is because of your whiteness. The white supremacist code. That's the only thing. Don't act like you were so tough and you were so this and so that because you didn't do none of it in Italy. You had to come around here to eat off foundational Black Americans and get on the white supremacist code in order to come up. And y'all can dance around that all you want to, but white supremacy is an affirmative action program for people who are classified as white. And you know that. And without that system of white supremacy lifting you up and giving you your daily bread, you would be a complete failure. You would be back over there in Italy eating some ravioli, picking head lice out of your scalp. You
Didn't
got-
Madam C.J. Walker actually start a business because she had so much fucking dandruff in her head? That's why she became a millionaire.
Great question. You
And you're
know,
talking to me about dandruff, bro? Like,
okay. You know why Madam C.J. Walker's hair was falling out? Because dirty, degenerate white supremacists, after slavery, they were going around the South selling snake oil hair products to Black women with all types of harsh chemicals in them. And Black women were putting this stuff in their heads, and it was making their hair fall out. So Black women like Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker started to go into the woods and go to the root people and get herbs and medicines to create hair grease and hair tonics that would heal their scalps and grow their hair. And these people became millionaires without the help of the white supremacists.
I mean, like I said, you just say whatever I've noticed about you, so you'll just
Everything
say
I
anything.
can Google what I just said, sir.
I have. It's not what it is. She had a
Yeah,
bad scalp problem,
no,
and
because
you
white,
talk about things with it.
because
Italian Americans were.
your white brethren were selling people like her bad hair products. Your degenerate ass family was selling Black women harsh chemicals, taking their hair out, sir. So notice everything we find out about your culture is degenerate, sir. You don't help us at all. It's all degenerate. You're talking about you help foundational Black Americans. You flood our communities with drugs and heroin. That didn't help us. That was a hindrance to us, sir. And then you want to brag about creating a degenerate cycle within our community? That makes you sound like
No,
a
black people were begging Italians to work with them. I don't know. Again, you have all your facts
stir,
wrong because you're in a book all the time.
sir. We couldn't work around you because this was during the Jim Crow era. So black people were not really allowed around you guys like that in large numbers. And you guys have always segregated yourself, especially in New York. Those Italian neighborhoods were very segregated. I don't know where you're talking about all of this helping black people. You guys were so segregated from us in Chicago, in New York, and all the other major cities. You went out of your way to segregate yourselves from foundational black Americans. And many of the Italians were attacking black people who just happened to wander in certain towns. So, sir, let's not play that game where you were helping us. You were some of the main people harming us all across the board.
Well, you look at everybody as the same thing. Like that's like me saying that because there's a black fucking person that's got a slave in Africa right now that I should hold you responsible for that because you have the same skin color or the same man.
I don't know where you're going, sir. At this point, you're just doing mayonnaise babble. So, what I'm going to do, sir, I understand you probably have some beef ravioli that you can microwave somewhere. So, go ahead and take you a nice nap, sir. Eat your rice-a-roni, beef-a-roni, Chef Boyardee. Eat you a empanada with some ragu sauce, whatever you do. But it's been real. So you have a good night, sir. All right. Okay. All right. So that's that. So how many people in here? Boy, we got a lot of people in here still. Okay. Yeah, this dude came in here trying to talk weird, trying to remix and revise history. Anyway, y'all. So look, I've been on here for a long time. It's real. We had a great time, great conversation, great time. And notice, I want y'all to notice. Did y'all catch how he tried to pit me against? Well, you think you're superior to Africans, and let me tell you something. This is about being on code. Even though us foundational Black Americans and our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, some of us are having some ideological disagreements in these chat rooms. One thing I do not do at all, I will never, ever, ever side with a goddamn white supremacist against another black person under no circumstances. And I want brothers and sisters from the goddamn diaspora to understand that dynamic. It don't matter what difference you have with any black person, you never, ever side with a white supremacist against another black person under no circumstances. You understand? You saw what he tried to do. He tried to play that game, and I sidestepped that. You ain't about to pit me against another black person. And even if I have a disagreement with them, that's family business. We handle that as a black family. That ain't got a goddamn thing to do with you. That's how we have to treat them. And I want y'all in the diaspora to really understand that. Y'all got to stop letting these white supremacists get in the mix, get in between your ideological differences because they come in and just fuck everything up. That's all about being on code. Now, family, y'all get my book, Foundational Black American Race Beta, right now at officialfba.com. Or, wait, do we have another white person in here? Who is this? All right, let me get another person in here. There's so many people in here. Let me see. Well, let me get a couple more people before I go. Go to Amazon to get my book, Foundational Black American Race Beta, because I don't want to be on here too long because I got a lot of stuff to do. We're filming a movie this weekend. What's up, Teslin? Shout out to my sister Teslin. Teslin be on those politicians next. That's my sister. Okay, I let somebody on here. Santher. Santher,
Hi,
can you?
hi, Tariq. How are you doing today?
I'm Sam. I'm good, Santher. You good over there?
I'm good, good, good. So, I just literally wanted to say that despite everything that you have going on, I just feel like you have, or you probably, how do I put it? You sort of still suffering from a lot of slave mentality. Let me tell you why. Because when people
Hmm.
come up here who are Africans to speak, you don't give them the time of the day. You don't even give them time to express themselves. You don't even want to listen. You just kick them off. But then we've had a very long conversation with someone who was saying a lot of intelligent stuff, but then you weren't in accord, but then you let him speak. Now, that brings me back to you. What does that make you? Are you a white supremacist apologist, or are you just African hater?
Okay, did you hear? Are you talking about me in the conversation with the white supremacists who just called up?
Yeah,
Now, did you hear me going in on this guy?
it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
You
What are you
would have
talking
had
about?
a conversation like that with other blacks and Africans who came up to speak. I think that's the
Did
point of
you hear me?
conversation.
Did
It's
you
an
hear me
exchange.
going in on this
But
guy?
then when you don't agree, you
This is
just
what I'm
yell.
talking. It, this is what I don't do. Let me be very clear with you. Okay, I don't really argue with black people like that. And it's not my job to sit here talking to another victim of white supremacy in circles. You know why? Because it's pointless. Everybody who listens to me, I don't argue with black people like that. Notice I'm not arguing with nobody. I let people talk, and if we have a disagreement, that's fine, but I'm not arguing with nobody. When people start babbling and trying to argue, I cut it short. I don't argue with black people because it's pointless. That's like two people on the bottom of a slave ship arguing with each other. It's pointless. That white supremacist, I talk to that guy because this type of dude is in a position of power. So black people need to learn how to talk to folks like that and shut them down, because these are the type of people that they got to work with. These are the kind of people that they got to go on a jury pool with. So black people got to know how to shut their bullshit down, because these people are in authoritative positions over here. So this is how we handle the white supremacists. So you sitting up here getting offended that we're handling white supremacists, and you want us to sit up here and babble and talk in circles with black people all damn day that don't mean nothing. That's why y'all over there struggling and suffering, because y'all sit there babbling all day with other powerless people and don't get nothing done and don't learn nothing, ma'am. This is a learning lesson for you. As you see, this is why y'all over there fucked up in the game and don't have things popping. Y'all want to sit around and babble to each other, all victims of white supremacy, instead of dealing with the white supremacists. And you mad at me. Where are you from? Where's that flag from? Is that Ghana? Where are you from, ma'am? Where are you from?
Good. So
Ma'am, where are you
literally,
from?
I'm from Cameroon. Do you know where Cameroon is?
I know where Cameroon is. I know where
Where's
Cameroon.
Cameroon?
Cameroon is over there by, is it by Angola? Well, damn it.
And the next thing you're going to say is you've been everywhere in Cameroon, I guess.
Ma'am. Okay. I haven't been to Cameroon. That's not what, is that some kind of gotcha moment? Because I haven't been to no goddamn Cameroon. I don't know where Cameroon is exactly. I'm thinking it's by Angola. If I'm wrong, damn it, I'm wrong. Is that a gotcha?
Is that a what?
Is that some kind of gotcha moment? You laugh like you that's some kind of gotcha moment. Like, aha. What does that mean?
Question for you,
No
Tariq.
question,
And let's
nothing, man. Well, I don't know where no damn Cameroon is. Why would I know where Cameroon is? I don't have any business in Cameroon. That's how much I don't give a damn. So you thinking, y'all sitting up here thinking we're thinking about you all the time. I don't even know where Cameroon is
question,
unless I look at.
Tariq. Tariq,
Oh, no! Don't cut me off. This is how out of sight and out of mind some of you are. We're not thinking about you. I don't even know where you are on a map. I'm just kind of taking a guesstimate. So you're trying to center yourself around these conversations, ma'am. You're trying to center yourself around these conversations, and it's not about you, ma'am. It's not about you,
nobody said it was about me,
but you're trying to
Tariq.
make it
But
about
but you have to at a certain point try to listen to people who talk because it's a
you.
conversation.
No, ma'am, I don't listen to people babbling and trolling. I'm not obligated to listen to you. I think a lot of you have this crazy, nonsensical sense of entitlement that we're supposed to sit around and hear y'all dumbass babble. If you're not saying anything constructive to me, I don't know what makes you think I got to sit up here and listen to that nonsense. What you're saying don't even work for you. It damn sure ain't gonna work for me, is it?
Okay, question for you, Tariq. Question for you, Tariq. So you said something along the lines of Africans come to America to do Dash Door and Uber Eats. And so I wanted to ask you if you would want to do such a job.
Why would I do that? I don't have to do that.
Then why do you care that we do it?
Because you're sitting around talking about we're trying to get your damn Uber Eats job, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Y'all running around here on Twitter Spaces talking about foundational Black Americans are mad because we want your Postmates jobs. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Y'all been running around saying that nonsense for the last few days. We don't want your little menial jobs. We don't care about that.
But then you don't care about that. At the same time, you complain about us doing those jobs. And
No, I'm
we
not.
don't even like the Uber
No,
job.
no, I'm not. Nobody's complaining. Why in the hell would I complain about somebody doing a DoorDash job? I want you to deliver my food on time. I don't mind you. I want you to deliver my food on time. I have no problem with you making deliveries. I get DoorDash all the time, and most of them are brothers and sisters from the diaspora. I have no problem with them. I tip them very well. Now, what's wrong with that, Samantha? Or whatever your name is. Ma'am, are you still here?
Can I ask you a question?
Ma'am, is
Can
it
I
a
ask
question?
you a question?
Ma'am, because
Can I ask you a question?
oh, okay, well, you're not going to cut me off because what you're doing, you're not really asking questions. You're just kind of throwing troll statements out here. But go ahead. Now, don't ask me any more bad faith questions. Let me say that because you're not going to sit here all night asking bad faith questions. That's really trolling in disguise. Now, let's try it again. Talk like you have some sense, or you're going to get your ass out of this room. Now, go.
Who is your favorite American president so far?
My favorite American president, ma'am, have a good night. You can ask me some dumbass nonsense like that. Get your ass off my phone, man. Okay.
Hi, Tariq.
What's up? Who is this? Where's this person from? Who is this? Who is this?
Hi, Tariq. Would you allow me to speak, please?
I would, brother, but you sound very sultry right now. Okay, so I need you to get a little more bass in your chest.
No, I'm not. So, my name is Fola. I'm from Nigeria, but I currently reside in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of the conversation yesterday, and I started the conversation today from the start. I just have some quick, simple questions to ask you. I can see that you're clearly anti-immigration.
Okay, but let me say this. Your questions better be in good faith. All right, go. Go ahead. It better be good faith questions, because if you ask some troll bullshit, I'm getting that ass out of here. So go. Unmute your phone, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course, Tariq. I'm not here to fight or cause trouble, just to have a civil discussion with you. That's all.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I can see that you're clearly anti-immigration because you said it's of no benefit to foundational Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please explain how so?
How can I explain how it's not a benefit? Based on history, for the last 50 years, Black American neighborhoods have been flooded with immigrant groups. And how has that benefited us in the last 50 years? That's my question to you. And please don't answer that with another question. How has it benefited us in the last 50 years? Go.
I don't reside in America, so I can't clearly answer that, to be
Okay.
honest.
Thank you very much. You don't, well, because when we start asking questions, well, I don't reside in America, so I don't know. So why are you concerned about what's going on in America then? If your answer is, well, I don't reside in America, so I don't know, why are you concerned about what we're doing in America? What the hell is your argument then? If your answer is why I don't live there, so I don't know. So why are you concerned one way or another? So that's another thing. Let's not waste time. If you're not over here, or you don't plan on coming over here, why? That's another thing. Let me talk to the people from the diaspora, because there are a lot of people over here who's like 15 million miles away, 10,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away, however many miles away. Why are you guys so concerned about what foundational Black Americans are doing over here? And if it really doesn't affect you, This is a very interesting dynamic here because I've had a couple of people who called up who was over there. They're over there. They're not even over here. But they're very concerned about our political structure, what we're doing political wise. And then when you ask them about, hey, what about the effects that we've seen? Oh, I'm not over there, so I don't know. What the fuck you in the conversation? Why does the conversation even concern you if you're not even here? When you have all of your own issues there, y'all sitting over here in your homeland and things aren't popping. Y'all not doing anything over there, getting it popping, and y'all focusing. Man, y'all need to focus on what's going on there. I don't know why y'all focusing on us over here. If you're not over here in America, please focus on what's going on over there and getting it straight. I'm saying that in a logical sense, right? That would make logical sense. Let's get Adu. Get Adu. Now Adu, I can tell you over there right now. You look like you over there in Ghana somewhere. Adu, what's up, brother? Adu, turn your phone on, brother. Okay, he got out of here. So yeah, don't add yourself and then bounce. Okay. Okay, well, let's see who this. All right, what's up, man? Beard W. Let's get Beard W on here. Beard W.
Yeah, hello, Terry. I'm talking from Ghana.
What's
So that's the I'm talking from Ghana.
God damn these niggas' phones, man. Okay, brother, what country you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ghana. I'm Selassie. I'm calling from Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, brother. Y'all gotta get brother.
So
Okay.
if I want to get my
Brother, this brother's calling from a tin can. I'm sorry, that phone is so janky. No, and I say that with love, no disrespect, but these janky phones are killing me. Okay, let's get she was on yesterday, not Judith. Now Judith was on yesterday from what I remember. Now, Judith was on yesterday. I think she got on yesterday from what I remember. All right. Now Judith, you want to talk?
Hello, Tariq.
Hello, Now Judith, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, this is what I want to say. I think you are suffering from an identity crisis and you need to take a piece of paper.
Hold on, stop. Okay. I'm suffering from an identity crisis, ma'am. I'm in my homeland and I never fled. My identity is not in question. I'm a foundational Black American. That is not a crisis. I'm a foundational Black American on my homeland that my family built, and I never fled. My identity is rock solid. Now, finish your thought, ma'am. Go ahead, now Judith. Okay, yeah, she looked like she thought she was going to try to get some kind of troll comment off, and she got cut off, and it fell flat. See how that works, now, Judith? Yeah, I don't have an identity crisis whatsoever, ma'am. You're the one with a million flags on your profile. So somebody is projecting. Okay, let me get one more call here. Raise your hand if you want to get on. Okay. Well, let's get the Ranger guy. Let's get this guy on. Mariox, I think that's your name. What's your name, brother? Go ahead and speak. Go ahead and speak, brother. Turn your microphone on. What's up, brother? What's your name? Mario. What city you in? What town? What country?
Nigerian, actually.
There, are you in Nigeria?
Yeah, I am.
There you go. So what's on your mind, man?
I think I've had some couple of back and forth from you, but I just want to ask a plain question. Do you have a difference between the blacks from Africa and the blacks out there in America? Is there a huge difference in the race and ethnicity or what?
Is there a difference? Well, we come from a different lineage. I'm a foundation Black American, so my lineage goes here on this land, and your lineage goes there. So we come from different ethnic groups. So that's kind of odd, right?
All right, because okay, being a geologist, I studied time and space, and I had a whole lot of papers worked on that. Now, when it comes to the foundation of Black Americans, We have histories that has been tampered with so many times by so many philosophers, by so many people, where we've lost a whole lot of details in time and space. Is it correct for you to believe that foundational Black Americans are way more superior than the Black America and than the Blacks from Africa? Is that right?
Who who in the hell said that?
Well, you might not say that directly, but most of your statements, most of your arguments, most of your justification has pitched towards the fact that foundational Black Americans are way more superior than the Blacks from Africa.
So you're lying, right? So you just made up a lie, right?
Okay, you think I'm lying?
I know you're lying because I ain't never said anything remotely close to that. So you're
You
just
tell
sitting here
somebody who is
making
from
up.
Africa.
No, no, brother. No, no, no. It don't work like that. You don't get to lie and then start talking fast. No, no, brother. It don't work like that. So you just made up a whole big funky lie that I didn't even remotely say. And you know I didn't say that. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I don't sit here having these long, drawn out conversations with other powerless people who are just as powerless as me, because under the system of white supremacy, we're still just a powerless group of people. I'm not going to sit up here and let another powerless person lie nonstop and talk in circles and just waste time. You know why? Because that's a captivity mentality. That's what people do in jail. When people have a captive mind, a mind that has been in captivity, when their mind is captured, they like to just kind of sit around and talk and babble as a way to waste time. When people are stagnant mentally, you want to do something, even if it's just talking nonstop. So if you physically don't get up and do something, you'll just sit around and just babble, 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 and just make up lies and then just go back and forth about the lies. That's a coping mechanism. I'm not here to deal with coping mechanisms of peoples whose minds have been captive. So we're not going to play that game where you want to come in here and just lie nonstop, because that feeds into stereotypes. So, sir, the fact that you're not even having conversations in good faith, I don't know if we should even dialogue any further, sir.
Tariq, I believe you're an author, right?
You,
To educate
I'm an
people,
author. I write
you need
books.
okay, excuse, okay, you don't want me to interrupt you, then
Okay,
I believe you.
because sounds like what you're going to do is you've already established that you are a bald-faced liar. Okay. So family, and I'm talking to this guy as a life lesson for the other family. When people like this, when they establish that they're liars, all they're going to do is basically waste your time. Now, I should just hang up, but I'm going to give him a chance to keep speaking so that you're going to see another lie he's going to cook up. He's going to say something completely false because he has no argument. So the name of the game is to talk and babble endlessly and just make up stuff and just talk in circles. So let me show you an example. What's your next question, sir? Go ahead. What's your next question?
You want us to listen to you, but you don't want every other person to give up an idea that is contrary to yours. What does that make you? A black supremacy or what?
I don't like lies.
I just ask you a question. It's just a simple, honest question. Yes or no?
There's no such thing as a black supremacist.
So what are you preaching to other blacks who are from Africa who doesn't even have the equal right of being born in America? Just because you think you're born in America and you think you're better than them, and they don't even have a right to hold a conversation concerning you, but you want to derive a conversation on them? Is that what you're saying?
Why have you not fixed your homeland?
Well, maybe because of people like you trying to install
I
negative
never.
thoughts
I'm
on
not
other
trying to
people.
go there. No, don't blame me.
Oh,
Why are you?
that's what
Why, no. Why do you have so much heat for foundational Black Americans, but not
I
the
don't hate foundational black America.
but not heat for the Asians that's taking over there? Why don't you have the heat for them, sir? Go ahead.
Maybe that's because they have some people back here who has the same mentality as you because they feel they are better than others.
Well, then why aren't you dealing with them over there then?
We're dealing with them systematically just the same way we're
No,
dealing with you.
no, you're not. You spending your time on the phone with me, and I'm 3,000, 5,000 miles away. And I'm not even planning on going over there anytime soon. So are you a coward, sir? That's a question. Because you sound like a coward, sir. This is a way
No,
to
no, 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 no. You're the one who sounded like a coward, dodging everybody's question head on.
you're being a coward, sir, because you're not dealing with your issues right over there, right where you are. There's Asians over there dominating you. The white supremacists in small groups are dominating you. Instead of dealing with them, you're out here whining to a foundational black American who ain't got a goddamn thing to do with you. That's isn't that kind of cowardly?
Have you ever been to Nigeria, Tariq?
No.
You've never been to Nigeria. So what gives you a mindset that you have a whole lot of Asian people taking over Nigeria and you have a small colony of white supremacy taking over Nigeria?
Google Asian and Chinese taking over Nigeria. It's all over the place. And you know that, sir. You know that.
Okay,
I
quick
don't
one.
have to go,
You try to verify those informations.
I don't have to go there to understand the social political climate there, sir, because I read. I read and I study sociology and current events.
Okay, just
I,
the same way you project your books to people with your own ideology and you want people to accept them. So you accept the fact that this is what is going on without even trying to verify it. Is that fact?
I have verified it, sir. That's what's over
But
there. Are you saying the Asian people are not taking over the economy over there, sir? Are you saying that?
I asked you a direct question now that did you verify it?
All you had to do was say yes or no, sir, because you know I'm telling the truth. You would have just said no.
You
You
don't
know
say no to a question and you come back and ask me to say yes to.
you're babbling in circles, family. Ladies and gentlemen, this type of babbling in circles, this is why they want to come over here because shit gets fucked up when you sit there and babble nonstop and not build and fight and clean up what's supposed to be yours. That's
Tariq. Tariq,
yeah,
you're very good with vocal. You're very good with argument. But
I'm
one
not,
thing you're not good
sir.
at is
Raise my
activating
voice.
other people.
I have not
No,
raised
sir.
my voice,
Sir,
sir.
I'm going to
Sir,
interject you when you talk.
sir, sir. I'm over here whispering right now. I've not raised my voice. Argue? I'm not arguing with you. I'm talking in a whisper. It's like almost 1 o'clock at my home. My babies are asleep, and my dog's in the backyard chasing squirrels. So I'm very quiet right now. I'm not arguing, sir. You're projecting a lot of your anti-foundational Black American contempt, sir. But go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say.
Okay. First of all, let me clarify this. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing against foundational Black Americans.
Yes,
Absolutely nothing.
yes, you do.
No, 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 no. You don't tell me what I do. I'm telling you,
But yes, you do. You're jealous of us, sir. I can hear the jealousy in your voice. You're jealous of foundational Black Americans, and I'm just a proxy for that jealousy.
well, if I'm gonna be jealous of something, I should be jealous of what I can do. I cannot do. You should understand something. Living in Africa, being one of the best virtual photographers in Africa, it gives me privilege to be here with the limitation and I can still achieve a whole lot of things. Let's
I hear your Nigerian Postmates orders are coming in right now. I can hear the phone ring. Sir, you need to be making money. I hear Nigerian Postmates orders coming in right now on your phone. While you're arguing, you can be stacking that paper. You see, you need to be constructive, brother. You got all those orders coming in, brother. You need to go out there and fulfill those orders instead of sit up here arguing with me and I'm a billion miles away. Go and deliver that Joe Loft, brother, and get your tips and stop arguing.
Eric, when you try to educate people, don't play shit games. Trust me. You want people to understand the fact that foundational Black Americans are being segregated and being racially abused. We understand that fact. But
I'm
don't
not
try
trying.
and
I'm not trying to get you to understand shit because you can't really do anything about it. What are you going to do about it? If I get you to understand it, what the hell are you going to do about it? You're not even doing anything to stop the suppression that's happening over there in your homeland, sir. So, what are you going to do about our situation? Honest question.
Well, by trying to wipe your ass off being the second Adolf Hitler of our generation.
I don't know. You said something about your ass, and I didn't catch the rest. Could you say that in
You're
English?
not gonna catch the rest, but because you're just trying to be another Adolf Hitler who is trying to make everybody believe your own special brain is better than every fucking person else.
Brother, y'all have over 500 different tribal groups over there, and you're talking about divisiveness and own groups. Why haven't you dealt with all of those tribal groups over there in your homeland, sir?
Because we have people like you at the loop and trying to make things worse. If you could just change your
So
mentality.
instead of handling your business, you're blaming somebody who's never been to your homeland. That's called cowardice, sir. Instead of handling your business, every single thing you blamed on me. I've never been over there before, never subjugated you, don't even plan on going over there. But it's all the akata, oh, that akata, that projection of this is jealousy, sir. You know why you're jealous? Do you want me to explain why you're jealous of me, sir? Do you want me to explain?
You think I'm jealous of you.
You are jealous
You,
of me.
you
You know
think
why?
I'm jealous of you.
You are jealous of me. You're jealous of me specifically. You know
How
why?
do you even think I'm jealous of you? Why?
Do you know why?
Because you're foundational Black America?
No. You know why?
Why?
Because the women over there in Nigeria like me. They think I'm sexy. That
Oh,
burns.
you think so. You
The,
think
the
so.
the women over there. I have a lot of female fans in Nigeria. I
Oh,
do.
that's great.
The
That's
women.
great.
The women.
I believe you deserve a national honor for that.
The women
If
think that they think I'm sexy, and the women are choosing up on me. They want to come over here and get with a player. And they have my books and my movies and the whole nine yards. And when they see you go to work for Uber Eats over there, they're getting online, listening to my videos, listening to my shows, buying my movies, and they're like, damn, I wish I can go over there and get with Tariq and get away from Umbutu. And that burns your ass. And you're like, oh, damn that Akata nigga. Let's keep it a buck. Ain't that why you mad, bro? You mad as hell. I bet you got a poster of me. You be throwing darts at that shit, don't you? Get back on, please.
you're getting it all wrong. When you take a look at your picture, you should ask yourself, what would somebody who is above 6 feet tall be jealous of a short dwarf like you? Come on,
So
it's not that bad.
does he
Believe me,
know how
it's not
tall I
that bad. You're
am?
successful in your field. I'm successful in my field. I don't even have any single
You
reason
know
to
how
be jealous.
tall I am? I'm 6'5", dude. I'm a big, tall drink of water. I'm 6'5", dude. I'm 6'5", and I'm not ashy. I got it popping, dude. I got a
For the
nice hair.
rest, I
I got
don't
a
have anything to be
hairline.
jealous of.
Look, I got a nice hairline. I'm not ashy. So the women, they choosing heavy. You understand? So that's where the jealousy is coming from. My hairline is robust. I'm nice, well oiled and lotioned. You understand? I'm papered up, a lot of respect. So there's a lot of jealousy there, player. So let's deal with that. Let's talk about that jealousy, bro.
Tariq, you need to stop being a clown. Nobody's even jealous of you.
Yes, you
What
are.
we're talking about, what we're talking about is your mentality about African and about African back in Africa and the foundational Black American.
That's a
You
start,
don't shift the subject of conversation.
dude.
Ever since we've been talking about, you keep pushing everybody away. Samantha said it, you pushed her away. This guy said it, you pushed her away. We're saying the fact that African Americans are suffering from segregation, from white supremacy. We understand that fact. But you starting up another war of fundamental black FBW, fundamental black Americans being better than the African.
Okay, all right. Okay, there you go. So I know you guys were getting tired of hearing that babbling because I damn sure was. Okay, that's the good thing. We can cut the babbling off anytime we feel like it. I just and I apologize to the family, to let his babbling go on that long. But I just wanted to show he really had no point. He just wanted to babble incessantly. He wasn't going anywhere with the conversation. But shout out to my Nigerian brothers and sisters. I still got love for the brothers and sisters there. But the Sambo class, there's a lot of jealousy going on and funny style stuff. But anyway, family, let me get out of here. I've been on here too long. I got to go upstairs and do what I do. But much respect. Go get the book Foundational Black American Race Baiter at Amazon.com, and you guys be safe.